All right, we're recording. Recording now.
Okay. All right. This is, I'd like to open the meeting. This is our May 7th, 2020 Town of Shawangunk Town Board meeting. Town Clerk, will you poll the board, see if we have a quorum?
Okay, Councilman Watkins,
Here.
Councilman DeWitt,
You hear me? Okay.
Councilman DeWitt,
Are you here, Binker?
Miller,
I'm here.
Okay.
is Councilman Miller,
No, I don't see
Councilman Miller
him.
with us?
Why is it not coming?
Okay.
Councilman Amthor,
Here.
Okay. All right.
Supervisor Walker.
We have a quorum. All right. We'll introduce the other guests here as we move along with the meeting. Let's have a brief moment of silence and we'll have the flag. Jane has a flag there. All right. Okay, we got to stand for the flag. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Liberty, justice for all.
All right. Easier when we're all in the room together. Okay, we did get a copy of the April 16th meeting minutes. Did everybody look at those? Anybody have any corrections, clarifications? If not, we'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Make a motion. Motion to accept minutes.
Who was that? Matt made the motion?
I'll second.
I think
Yeah, I think Bob did too.
He's
Hear
here.
me.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
Board, Jane.
Councilman Watkins,
Present.
DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
There.
Aye.
Councilman Amthor,
Aye.
Supervisor Walker.
Okay.
You don't like trees.
At this point, we'll move the privilege of the floor to the end of the meeting because there may be people joining us by phone that may have questions. Okay. The highway superintendent, you have a request for your rest of your 284 agreement. The 284 agreement for the public is an agreement and a contract between the town board and the highway superintendent we provide the funding to, and he does the capital improvements on the certain roads that are listed in the plan. We did a portion of it last meeting, and now we have it completed so we can buy his material and set up the work. So, Joe, you want to explain the roads you want to do and how you want to do them?
Yeah,
Joe?
so as of right now, the original 284 agreement has blacktopping Dennison Road, First Street, and Second Street to finish off the rest of the hamlet. The reason why we're doing Dennison is because town of Gardner did their half of it, and we just want to finish that road and make it look, it does need it. And then we're going to start up on Walker Valley. We are right now, we're going to do Weed Road, Bays Road, and Stony Brook. They will be fiber matted and fog sealed. So we don't lose those roads. They're in good shape and they can be cleaned up and taken care of. pretty much everything in the 280. Oh, and a seal the Oregon Trail, because we did the blacktop that recently, or a couple years ago, needs to be sealed up. So that's the only
Okay.
things we got going on with the 284 agreement. We didn't know all the money. All the money's coming, so we're
Yeah, we had some left over from last year as well. Okay.
Top coat.
Yeah.
All right. Did everybody get a chance to review it?
Yes, yeah.
We got any questions or? All right, entertain a motion to accept the 284 agreement.
Joe, did you get? Joe, did the blacktop thing?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We'll
Make a
entertain a motion.
motion,
that
John?
we,
I'll make a motion.
accept the amended 284 agreement.
Okay, and Bob, I heard
from
you,
the-
you second that, so.
I make a motion, we accept the amended highway, 284 highway agreement.
Okay,
Second the motion, Matthew.
okay,
Okay,
poll aboard, Jane.
okay. Councilman Watkins,
Aye.
Councilman DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Amthor,
Aye.
Supervisor Volk.
Aye. Okay, anything else, Joe, or you wanna, that it?
No, other than, we know the COVID thing is going on. Crews are split up, working 50-50. So we just ask that, the people in the community understand that we can't run out. I don't have the manpower all the time to get things done right away. And just to, we're getting to it. We're coming. So we're working hard, and the guys are working hard. But I have
Okay.
nothing else.
All right, good. All right, thank you, Joe. All right, we'll move to our police chief, who is in North
Thanks,
Carolina.
Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, so far, everything is running, pretty smoothly as expected during this COVID-19 thing. Hopefully it's going to end soon, but a couple things to report. We were given an allotment of masks for the police department to hand out to the public, which we gave to Kathy to put on the Facebook page, and we've gotten a tremendous response. We've given out about 400 so far. Still have plenty more to give out, and I understand the town got the same allotment. So if I don't expect we're going to run out, but if we do, we may look to the town to get a couple extra to provide to the public.
So ours are to pass out to the public as well, so.
Yeah.
And your officers are out there every day. It's a good way to distribute them, really.
Yeah, and we've been, there's a pause task force that people can call a 1-800 number to report things that they see, social distancing, businesses not adhering to the pause rules, people not wearing masks in establishment, whether it be employees or customers. It's up to each establishment to control their own establishment and see that the guidelines are followed. But we've gotten about 5 pause referrals that we've went and spoke with the businesses, and they were in compliance when we checked on them. So these are done anonymously, so we can't follow up on them any more than just go check with the businesses and make sure they have what they need and that they have protocols to follow the order. Other than that, we've been staying busy, working in collaboration with the fire departments, the ambulance, the state police, the sheriff's office, other emergency services to do birthday drive-bys for children. doesn't take anything extra to our resources because we're already out there. We're already driving around. So it's just a matter of coordinating it and putting the lights on and driving by their house and having somebody stop and give them a little gift to make their day a little special. Pretty nice write-up by the Walk Hill Valley Times for it. So our Officer Brooks.
Yeah, it was a good PR.
Full-time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Officer Brooks, our latest full-time officer, is coordinating those. So she fields all the requests and fills them as she sees fit. But we've gotten a pretty good response from it. Other than that, I've been in touch with Civil Service, see what the holdup is on the latest list we called to fill the 2 full-time positions. And they're at a standstill until they can get the YMCA opened up to do the physical agilities. They can't make a list without having the ability to give the candidates the opportunity to take the physical agility. So I've been in close contact with them. And she's going to let me know as soon as something changes or opens up. She said we had the opportunity to do temporary appointments, but I talked to Bob Miller today, and I don't think that's necessary at this point. We'll just wait out the storm and see once this is over if we can get back on track with that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions of Jerry? Okay. One thing, Jerry, I did get a complaint or a suggestion that people on the rail trail is getting heavily used and the bicyclists aren't being courteous and, keeping their distance. And somebody suggested that maybe the police you still have the golf cart. Is that running?
That is not. We got from the Department of Defense, we got a electric car and we got a John Deere Gator that are currently being overhauled by one of our residents. And I spoke with him the other day. They should be ready any day now. He's just been he's been down in his whole family with the COVID, so he's back up in action, and we should be expecting those sometime soon.
Okay, because maybe you could do a little patrol and just, a courteous suggestion to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people, they're starting to get riled. I noticed their personalities changing. So.
Yeah, Councilman Miller also made mention of a complaint that he received from a resident on Indian Springs in regards to motorcycle. It's that time of year; they're going to be out all over. But we're going to patrol at the time and day that he suggested that it's going on, and see if we can put a stop to that for that resident on Indian Springs. Other than that, we should be pulling the speed sign out soon. So if anybody, any of the residents have any requests to have the speed sign set up in front of their house to slow traffic down, definitely give us a call, and we will start getting it out there.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of Jerry?
No.
If not, public safety, the committee, you have anything, or did Jerry cover it all?
I think Jerry got it all.
Jerry pretty much covered it all, I believe.
All right. Now, water and sewer, the rotors for the agitation ditch there are on order. I get a lot of complaints about the noise because they got some kind of blower set up to move the sludge in the ditch. And so I'm hoping that in the next 4 or 5 weeks we can get that rotor delivered, but everything's backlogged because of the virus. So, that's in the process. The other thing, parks, the playground equipment that was being donated by the nursery school at New Hurley Church. I asked Joe today if they got a few hours, they could go pick that up and store it right now, because we can't do any work in the parks to install it, and they can't use it if we do put it in. So it'll be in a safe place up there for now. Binker, you got anything on parks at all?
Yeah, the maintenance of the parks have been busy. The Keeter Kill, we've been cutting brush and fixing the trails up. Garrison, the hoops have been removed, posts and everything are gone. There was one resident that actually called me about a week ago about it, and they got over there and took them down. The rail trail, we've been trimming trees on that because a lot of people are using it. And
No, it doesn't
the
interest.
Pop Park along the trail, we've been trimming.
Okay.
Pop Park along the river. They've been hand trimming that.
Okay.
Did we lock the gate at Gillville?
Yeah, well, it was
We locked
open.
the
Someone
gate at
was in
Gillville?
this, so,
Yes, at dusk, we lock the gate.
yeah, but we closed that one, that
Okay,
part.
good.
So if we could leave that one closed, whoever's opening it, like, we need to keep it closed for now because we have some vandalism in the back there on the field, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think the residents have abused of the either.
You're out there.
No, I don't think anybody's using it. You're right.
No.
Now, both for Keeter Kill and Galeville have been used very, very decently and respectfully. We haven't had any problems occurring between people or overcrowding. So it's been very good.
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 I did have one of the soccer people inquire about getting field time for the fall, and I told him just send a usage sheet to the town hall, and if we can give time in the fall later on, we will, but it will be tabled for now. No time is being given.
Really didn't make much improvement to this, whatever they've been
Well, they
doing.
did 100% improvement. Some of them holes, it's just trucking.
We got somebody talking.
Great.
Anyway, okay, let's move along. Sidewalk and lighting, everything's on hold with that. Unless, Matt, do you have any lights that are out? You've been doing any rounds?
Oh, I've been meandering around. Everything looks good. What are we gonna do with the light over at the old schoolhouse since we took the basketball? We're gonna turn it on or not?
Yeah. I actually did. Do I need a poll number for that, or? Because
I had a poll. I'll get it back over to you.
Okay. I was up there the other day too. I didn't think of it. All right. Recreation, Binker, you want to make a decision on the summer camp?
Well, yeah, I'd like to bring it up a little bit for discussion. I've been following the news the last couple of weeks, and I don't know if by the first week of July we'll even be allowed to run a camp or get permitted to have a camp. I'm a little concerned because a lot of the counselors, they all return every year. So I'd like to make a decision whether not to have it, so that they can, find other employment for the summer. A lot of them are teachers, and I just kind of want to give them the best shot. Does anybody foresee that we'll have a chance to even have it? I mean, we're running short on planning for sure. We're normally doing signups by now. I can't see Governor Cuomo allowing, a camp to take place. Can anybody else?
Well, they've opened up, West Point is going to be opening up. All the cadets are going to be going back, and they're actually going to have a graduation. So I don't see how they're able to do that if nobody else is.
Yeah, I know they're going to limit the parks in the city for the summer. I mean, I saw that, and that was kind of like a cruncher for me. I'm like, well, if he's limiting the parks, I mean, that's what we're going to.
Yeah. So, what do you want
I
to
mean,
make a
John,
decision?
do you even think there'll be health certificates? Probably. I don't think we'll get a health certificate, do you?
No, I mean, we'll meet in 2 weeks if you wanted to wait, but I can't see us getting approval, and then there's a liability if somebody catches the virus, and
Well,
how do you
right.
can't-
My other meetings that I attend have to do with the school, and like
Oh, they're
we're even for graduation, we're separating, we're doing social distancing, but one of the comments at school was you can't bring a 5-year-old back to school because he's not going to wear a mask all day long. So
Right.
concern we'd have because, of the group of children we have, I think it would be difficult to maintain the distancing. Believe you me, I want to have it. I think it's a lot of family would love to have it, but the way things are going, I just don't see that we will be able to within that short period of time.
Okay, so why don't we have a motion to cancel the camp for
Yeah, 'cause
2020?
what I'd like to do is, we'll cancel the camp, and if they do relieve some of the regulations, mid to late summer, we might be able to do quite a few day trips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea that we try to do
Might do
events
some day
throughout
trips.
things to loosen up. That's a great idea.
So,
Okay.
I hate to see it go backwards because when you take a year off, it's hard to get it back going again, but I don't think we have a choice. We're not in a position to do it.
Yeah, I agree with
That would be my motion.
Okay,
you. I'll second that motion.
Okay.
All right. Motion and a second, poll the board, James.
No camp.
Councilman Watkins,
Aye.
Councilman DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Right there.
Councilman Anthor,
Aye.
Supervisor Volk.
Aye, okay, that's done. Anything, recreation?
That's it.
Okay. Resource recovery, I sent you all today, we got the proposal for Sterling Engineering for the monitoring, the annual monitoring of the landfill. And it was $5,900. I see it's up a little bit, $6,381. And what we have to do there, we have one vent pipe that needs repairing. And I was gonna see if DJ maybe could do that. It's a matter of gluing with PVC pipe, putting a coupling in.
I would find the other day, and it was the side of stuff
So
together.
we'll see on that, but I need a motion. They want to do this next month
It was out on
in June, schedule it. So,
one of those
anybody got any
things.
questions?
Well, they were all open. The horse had his head stuck out.
John, is there a chance that we would finally be able to stop all this testing, or I
30
know a
years.
couple of years ago
I
we
think that goes
tried
up in
30?
2024. It's 30 years
Okay.
of monitoring. So,
Okay.
it's either 2024 or 25. I forgot what year we closed that. It was 94, 95. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question, Matt.
Yeah, it does. Well, I was thinking about now that we've cleaned up that place so much, we really got to make sure we get somebody up there to mow it down,
Well, that's in the lawn mowing schedule.
That's in the mowing contract.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, but that's an as
When we want-
needed, isn't it?
you know,
As called on that?
yes.
Okay.
We kind of did it late in the summer. That way, you don't have to mow it 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Okay, so I need a motion
Maybe
to,
the highway can, sorry, I
Propose-
thought maybe it was the highway can get up there with a brush hog, because now with all those tires and everything out of there, that whole back area there could probably get cleaned up a little better. I'll take a look this weekend and report back.
yeah, it's a little difficult on the slopes with the equipment we have here. Okay, I need a motion to
I'll make a
approve
motion I'll make a motion that we spend the money to do the monitoring at the landfill.
Okay.
Second, Watkins.
this seconds. All right, poll the board, Jane.
Councilman Watkins,
Aye.
Councilman DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Anthor,
Aye.
and Supervisor Volk.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Okay, that's all we have on that. Personnel procedures, we're still working, as Joe said, kind of split shifts so we can do our part to keep people away from each other. So I don't know how long that'll continue, and the building is closed. And moving on to buildings, I did talk to our part-time building inspector. We had some ideas. about putting plexiglass at the town clerk's window. This will be a permanent thing. It's not something temporary. And the court clerks in the building department, we haven't figured out how to do the assessor's office and the planning board exactly yet, but we're working on it. So I think in the next week or so, we should start move ahead and get the plexiglass. It must be in short supply too. Everybody's putting plexiglass everywhere. So, and we'll get that ready for opening. At some point, we'll have to open the building. And when we do, we probably should only open one door and leave the other ones shut, so that we don't have people coming in all over. And that new piece of equipment that Joe thought to buy, we can be used. We can sanitize the building, every morning or every night when we close up, so that we can make sure we don't have any, contamination in the building. So, all right. Okay, and computers, Brian, you set this up pretty good. We're doing a little better than last time. So
Yeah, we tested it, and this should hopefully work moving forward. We're recording it, and we'll get it posted on YouTube, and everything's been put on the internet as far as how people can access it and listen in, and they can join or ask questions at the end. So hopefully it'll,
okay,
be better than last time.
yeah, and the assessment board of review will meet through a Zoom meeting like this, and Mark, I see you there. I hope you're done eating your dinner. I watched you eat the whole thing. I'm envious. And anyway, maybe your planning board meeting you like to set up like that. All right.
I want to talk to Brian when I get a chance, and I would like to set it up because we're going to have a meeting in June. So
okay. Well, we purchased a Zoom town account so that we can have better features and we can record, and it's minimal cost for what it does. So
yeah, we can have up to 100 users and stuff. Yep.
Okay. One of Andrew, we'll move on to unfinished business. Andrew, are you here somewhere?
Hold on, I'm gonna set him up. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. All right, go for it. Andrew's live now.
All right, Andrew, you there? Okay, I can't hear you.
Hey, yeah, I am there. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, okay, yes. All right, you asked to address the board on the bond reduction for the decommissioning plan?
Hi. Yes. If I could, hi everyone. Pleasure
Hello.
Hello, Andrew.
to be here again. Thank you. If I could request, we decided if you could give Dan Leary the floor to talk for us, it'd be easier than the two of us talking. We'll just stick with him if that's okay.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yep, let me get Dan ready. Hold on a second.
Perfect.
All right, Dan, can you hear us, Dan?
And I'll just drop on mute on my side, but I'll be there if needed. But
okay.
Hello.
All right, we're good.
Dan, you there?
Okay.
What's up? Oh,
I can hear you, Dan.
can you? Everybody hear me?
Can you talk a little louder, Dan?
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, we'll give him.
Hello?
All right, now I can hear you.
Can anybody hear him?
No.
It's very weak.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that is. I have my volume on my desktop at the highest level. It shows my mute is off. I had me on mute before, but now it's on.
Okay.
Can you hear?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. All right.
right, thank you, Mr. Supervisor, and members of the board. I'm here on behalf of New York Solar 1000 for the project. I take it you the planning board advisory report on that, but I hope you also received, if you did, my package that I sent this week that included the Mott McDonald estimate of decommissioning costs project as a Labella estimate. The meme report
Dan, you're breaking up, and it's hard to follow your conversation. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure what I can do about that.
Sorry. Should we jump to a plan B?
Yes, Andrew, can we hear you good? We can hear you good.
Everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
If you can't hear Dan, I'll just jump on and quickly, sorry, it's on this way, so he'll jump in if I was wrong. At this stage now is to the stage where we wanted to do the decommissioning costs. Now almost finished clearing up conditions for approval, and we submitted one earlier because we've come to the stage where we've changed engineers, got on a company to help assess with the decommissioning. So I do believe Dan sent everyone a packet of information which gave the new cost from the new engineers, which was Mott McDonald's. It also gave their breakdown between what the original decommissioning cost had been given by the first engineers, Labella, and their assessment. Plus, I believe the packet also included the letter, or I believe you had it from your town engineer who's previously seen that and agreed on that side.
Okay. Yes. And Mark, your planning board sent us a memo advising us not to reduce it. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct. The planning board feels that the planning board sent a letter. It was there was a poll taken at the board, and they felt that the original number was more in line with what it should be. Joe Mean did look at it, and and he agreed to Joe agreed to the lower price. The board didn't feel that the lower price would cover it at the time. And seeing how it's for review every 5 years, the board felt that when they came back in 5 years, if they still felt that it was going to be able to be reduced, that it could be done at that time. So they just didn't have the confidence in the numbers when Labella outright came up with the number in the first place, and we agreed to it. Now that after they have their approval, they send another, they get a different engineer, or they get whatever, and everything comes back with a different number. The board was just not comfortable with it, that's all.
Now, you say it gets reviewed every 5 years. It could be reduced, but it couldn't be increased, am I right? In 5 years?
No, it would be either or. It depends whether it needs to be, you know, again, in 5 years down the road, we have a better idea what things are, and it could be reduced or increased depending on what it is.
Yeah, especially in these economic times right now, we don't know where we're going.
Really? Wow, they made good time coming down that hill.
Could I just, sorry, just want to point out the letter we received from the planning
get a
board said
blue one?
that the reason why it wasn't approving the reduction in price was because the planning board felt it wasn't a good time to review the decommissioning. But I would like to say that part of our process in developing solar and the town's board's law that said we should review this at good time, it's really part of the practice is to review the planning when we've come through, particularly when you're at a stage when you're actually engaging with new engineers and engaging to start the construction process as well. And so where we're really looking at that, and what we wanted to say is we'd also like to discuss some of the reasons where we do this and why it came out very different is in the original estimate, this was done by Labella, who have done a lot of engineering work but haven't done any decommissioning estimates before. And they made some key kind of things that we've highlighted that were very different to their costs. For instance, they actually estimated the cost of the decommissioning to be more than it actually is to build the thing. And they inflated the period of decommissioning to 16 weeks when really it should take 7 to 8 weeks. And there was a lot of and try to choose my language correctly in that estimate. And I appreciate I wasn't involved in the project before, so I didn't get to go through it. But you know, they estimated things that are clear to everyone are just not required. They put establishing landline telecommunications on site, which you know, had quite a high cost, and it's things that wouldn't be done. So they kind of looked at it if they were bidding to do such a project. Whereas Mott MacDonald's, the engineers we've done on, have done, I do believe it's over 30 decommissioning projects in many different states, including 18 in New York, and have a lot more experience. So we wanted to have a consideration of that. So some other things we wanted to mention about the new consideration for the new prices. Obviously, the actual the amount gets reviewed periodically as we move forward. Also, the actual cost will be recovered if the town has to do this, and we're obviously confident that's not going to happen. And then thirdly, where we're looking at this now for a practical cost moving forward, we want to start looking at getting this into the moving stage that we're moving on. So if we can have a look at this and say, this is more reasonable, the town's engineer believes this is more reasonable, and now is a good time to review this. And obviously, if this changes in periodic time, we'll certainly review it again now. But when we're swapping to new engineers that have a lot more experience and a lot more information on this, we think now is a really good time to review that.
Now, did they figure prevailing wage when they calculated this? Because if the town was to pull bond and have this done, we'd have to pay prevailing wages, and it adds about doubles the cost, really. So
yes, it has had prevailing wages. Also, to add on this one, it doesn't include any salvage value, which actually in the original Labella cost did include salvage value. So we are going at an estimate that includes complete removal without any salvage value whatsoever, using union labor rates, and also where this is a bit kind of this is why obviously it has to be looked at in future dates, because obviously nobody's really been decommissioning any of these projects that started up. However, what McDonald's have been involved in is they have been involved in removing sites, remediating sites after hurricanes. So I believe it was somewhere, I think it was South Carolina, that they've done that in. So they've actually got good experience on actually removing the sites around. So, for us now moving forward, we want to look at evolving everything at every step and move. This is a good estimation that comes from with a more experienced engineers and has been reviewed by the town engineer. Now is a good time to review this.
Okay, board members got any questions or comments?
I have some comments.
Okay, go ahead, Matt.
I did read the the letters. I don't agree with all of the assumptions made on setting price, like uses a group versus a small organization. I'm amazed at the price difference, and I don't understand the difference between the original budget for Labella at 666 dropped down to 156. Was that adjustment made by Labella, or is that an assumption made by you, Andrew?
Andrew,
It's a cost comparison that was made between the, sorry, it was a cost comparison that was made between the two engineering quotations. One of the key things there is obviously different New York engineers do not want to, they only want to put out their own prices. They don't want to actually engage into discussing other engineers' estimations, because that can, it's just not the way to do things, really. Where we have, and where I broke down the cost estimations, where we really have the difference, and this is why I wanted to stress on the different engineering factors. And I don't know if everyone saw this, but I produced a spreadsheet where we broke it down. They gave very much the cost estimations that were compared. And key ones you've got there are a lot of things are in discussing. A lot of the big costs are Labella of doing this themselves. They're an engineering firm that don't have any of the kind of contractor work themselves. So a vast majority of the costs they put in there was actually for renting basic equipment, renting on-site offices. These would be things that if you hired a contractor to remove, you know, you're not going to hire a contractor, which is essentially disposal of the panels itself has a little bit more complication to this, but actually removing chain link fences, removing steel posts that put in the ground and some racking, and then actually moving the panels it's got some manual labor, but it's not as hard as putting it up, where you know you have to keep the panels intact so much. So you're actually you would engage with a contractor that actually can do this and has their own equipment. Then there's also one of the big costs is the 16-week time frame. I mean, these things go up in 8 weeks. Taking them down should be a lot quicker than that. And I mean, again, the reason it takes so long for it to go up in the whole 8 weeks is essentially you put the posts in, you drive them in, then you put the racking, then you have to be kind of careful about how the panels are arranged, and then you string them. When you're actually pulling them down, it's, you know, you're taking strings of cables off and then the panels. It's not that complicated a job. So if you look, and we were quite generous on saying when we do the cost comparisons, they're going to give it 8 weeks in case there's anything going on. The other stuff that they put in there, I mean, a lot of it was I think I've got it there, but they wanted something around the range of, what was it, 20 to 30,000 just for a field, you know, renting things. So that's why I broke it down. And if you've all seen the spreadsheet, I mean, it shows everything there, and that's why I wanted to highlight why the difference between Labella in this. If they were pricing this job as though they would be to do this, compared to Mott MacDonald's, who we particularly use, because the great thing about Mott MacDonald's is they prepare engineering, but they don't do any of the contracting work themselves. So they prepare you to bid it out. So their interest is to basically find a workable solution that you then contract out to the EPCs. The key one to really look out, and the key comparison here is really in the solar business, when you're looking at everything you do price per watt. We have an estimation for this project, including, you know, possibly paying for the panels, is around 28 cents per watt. Labella's decommission estimate comes in at 29 cents per watt. Whereas Mott MacDonald's comes in about 5 cents per watt. And if we adjust Labella's to make some things that not required on Mott MacDonald's, and you're looking at about 7 cents a door. And I will stop talking after this, but to give some sort of grounding where we're going on this, NYSERDA itself, recommendation that it's produced in the guide for towns to cover commissioning, actually puts in a price of 3 cents per watt, which I would actually say is low. So we're actually looking at about just over double what NYSERDA is giving out as a guideline.
But you're talking 29 cents a watt, kilowatt, megawatt or kilowatt. But
An individual watt, yeah.
but that's 20 or
No.
25 years from now instead of now, today's dollars.
Yeah, 28
So,
cents a watt.
Yeah, a watt. Okay, but anything I disagree with the rate of inflation.
No, that
He
is
calculated it. I think it was 1.57 or something like that. And I really do believe that, it's going to be a little higher inflation rate over the years. And so anyway,
John,
Matt,
if I could.
any other board members got a question or a comment?
Yeah, Andrew, I have a question for you. On your, Mott McDonald supplied you with a spreadsheet with individual costs, line item costs. And as John had said, the annual inflation rate was set at 1.57%. The unit price that's given, is that a unit price representative of today, or is that the 20-year 1.57 percent inflation? So is that unit price for 2040? Is that unit price representative of 2020?
It's unit price revenue of 2020. No, sorry, 2040. When it's,
So
yeah.
your total at the bottom comes out to 124,079. Really, we haven't done any inflation for 2040. So we would have to up that number by 1.57% for the next 20 years. Is that correct? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they gave you the number in.
Hang on, just give me 1 second. I'll just double check.
It said right on there, it's in 2020 dollars.
Does it say that?
I saw that on the, I think I saw it on the spreadsheet. It said 2020 dollars.
Okay, so that number just represents a number for today if we were to decommission today. Aren't we really looking for a number to decommission in 2040? Mark?
If
Is that what the
I
planning board
could,
is expecting?
well, if I could for a minute, I did listen to what Andrew had to say, and I understand what he's saying. He's talking about doing the decommissioning himself. I was under the impression that the number we're working on is if they did not do it, that we would have to hire somebody.
Yes, yes.
And
Right.
in that case, there would be a rental of a trailer. There would be on-site work. There would be things that, because because solar, Andrew's company does do this solar, but the whole reason we're having this bond is so that if they don't do it, we can pay to do it. So
Yes.
all the things that Labella put into their bid are the things that the town would have to pay for, because we're not a solar company taking the solar array down.
Good point.
You're absolutely
So this
Sorry,
is
if I could just jump in there. Sorry, that was a miscommunication on my part. No, to clarify, where I'm saying on this, if we as a company were doing it, it would only be as an estimate that we provide for the town. It's if a contractor that actually does any form of contracting being this, rather than an engineering company who would then subcontract the work that would go out, and they would be doing it as a contractor. They'd be looking. So where you're looking for on this decommissioning price is if the town was going to, whoever they would choose to do, a contractor that can actually do the work, rather than and they would go through an engineering company and they would do it locally, rather than bidding out a big project to an engineering firm that doesn't let itself. Yeah? So what Labella have done essentially, and again, I'm coming in later because I would have caught this. They've this as if they were to win a contract, what would they do to maximize that contract? Whereas
Okay.
if you're looking for someone where you would say, we want to have decommissioned, you would go out and say, can you do the decommissioning? It's not for our company at all.
All right. Board members of you, do you need more information? You ready to make a decision?
I just have one more comment.
Sure.
If I'm correct in understanding what was said here, Labella and Labella is the only organization that would be doing it. He specifically said Mott McDonald would go out to the market and bid it out. We all know what happens when you go out to the market to bid things out. So, I mean, I'm not saying that Labella's original wasn't too high, but there has to be something significant, in the middle, 300s or something here. And, when you're looking at what the values are for salvaging this stuff, I mean, that's only estimates alone. Because, I mean, I know right now, like iron is bringing pennies on the dollar. And they've got a pretty good hefty number for salvaging of the metal alone, which I think is significantly higher than we could actually get.
Okay, good point. Very good. All right. So my question, are you ready to make a decision? You want to table it?
I'd like
So-
more time to take a look at the
We
spreadsheet.
can
myself.
table it to the next.
We can.
Yeah, I found, I was trying to print it out and I couldn't print it all. It was, kept rolling over on, you had the wrong size paper. All right, Bob's recommended we table this. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Second,
I'll
Watkins.
second that.
Binker seconds that. Full board, Jane?
Councilman Watkins,
Aye.
Councilman DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Amthor,
Aye.
Supervisor Falk.
Aye. Okay, so let's put this on the agenda for 2 weeks. Is that all right with you, Andrew? You'll be available?
Thank you very much for considering. Yeah,
Hopefully his
if you get any
connection.
information in the meantime, happy to provide it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and I think you all have Andrew's email, if you can email him directly.
That's protocol is to email them directly. Okay, that was my question.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yep.
that way, you can word your question better than I can, so. All right, thank you, Andrew. Let's move on. Other unfinished business, we did authorize me to sign the MS4 report, but the engineer told me it has to stay on the website for 30 days and get comments. We have no comments. So at this point, we'll take the draft MS4 report and accept it as the final report, and we'll send it in with my signature. If I have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
So moved, Watkins.
All right, I think Binker made the motion, Matt seconded it. All poll the board now?
Yeah.
Jane?
Councilman Watkins,
Aye.
Councilman DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Amthor,
Aye.
Supervisor Falk.
Aye. Okay, the other thing I wanted to bring up, we had a pending thing, it's been sitting, that accident with the snowplow that the insurance company wouldn't pay because state law says that they're exempt, the snowplow is exempt from liability. More I thought about it, it would be nice, we did damage to his truck. He since got rid of the truck. It wasn't because of the damage to that he just got another truck. It wasn't the damage that we did, it was minor. But the law says that the snowplows are exempt from liability. I don't know how we can pay it. So I don't know what the board wants to do. It's $2,000 and change, but legally, the law says that snowplows are exempt from liability while doing their, clearing roads and such, same as a police car would be. I don't know how we can legally pay it if the insurance company denied it. And I appealed it and it didn't go anywhere. So any thoughts?
I say we have to go by what the insurance company says and what the law says. If we don't have to, we should, If we're not liable, then why should we pay it?
Well, you got to think of setting precedent too. If
Exactly.
it was a Mercedes
Yeah.
car, we'd be buying, and it wasn't like it was neglect or anything. It was just, those big trucks are hard to squeeze in between vehicles sometimes.
Well,
So
my
that-
only comment would be, that the law is the law, and the defendant or the vehicle who's injured has options to litigate it farther if they disagree. But we pretty
Right.
much have to stick by what the law says.
And if they took it to court, we'd have to use the same defense that the insurance company did, that state law says, and it wouldn't be heard in our town, of course, but, okay, anybody else got any opinion?
No.
I will entertain a motion one way or the other.
I'll make that
All
motion.
right. That we deny it?
Yeah, we deny the claim, yes.
Is that what your motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're looking for a second.
Second, Watkins.
Okay. Poll the board, Jane.
Okay, Councilman Watkins,
Aye.
Councilman DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Amthor,
Aye.
Supervisor Vogel.
Aye. Okay. Anybody else have any other unfinished business before we move on to new business?
I do think, shouldn't the motion say that we're complying with the New York State law?
Well,
Per the, okay, that's a good point. We can add that into the language. All right.
Doesn't make it sound like as much of a bully.
Yeah, good point.
But no, legally, if an auditor picked it up, we couldn't pay a bill that the law says we're not allowed to. Then it's a gift, so.
The only old
Okay.
business I want to bring up, John, is on those, on the cement block for around in the recycling center.
Yeah.
I saw a place over on Stone Schoolhouse Road that I think makes them. What is our cost if we got those? The biggest concern that Joe had is we're not able to move the things because we don't have the equipment to move them.
I don't
Where do we
know.
go with that?
Oh, you get a price on the block and then we'll see how many
You
we
mean-
need.
Do you mean, Matt, once you buy them, you want to move them, or you're
Well-
going to buy them?
And they'll put
Joe's
them in.
saying if we buy them, we don't have any way to hook them up. I'm not talking about the mafia blocks, I'm talking about the road barrier ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
but-
jury?
Mafia blocks aren't high enough, and if they are, if we double stack them, they're too high, and you'll be too far away from the dumpster to throw the stuff in.
Well, I
Yeah,
can
but-
tell you the Jersey barriers, the Great All and the loader can pick up, because we load them on trailers all the time.
Oh, okay. Is Joe still
Alright.
here?
I don't think so.
No, he's gone. Joe's going.
If you
All right.
keep it close, you can pick them up and set them on trailers.
Okay. Thank you.
We
Let's
open
get a-
and close roads all the time, every day.
Okay.
Because I know John was going to see if the witnesses had any extra. I don't think they did.
No.
So I want to figure out, it's a good time. He's done a good job keeping everything clean. He's working well with the masks and everything. And so I just want to make sure we don't go a few steps back. And honestly, I think we're pretty much ready to put the covered area in or get that trailer, John. Where are we on the trailer? Is that a dead deal now too?
No, nothing. I'm looking at state revenues. That was my next thing. How anticipated revenues, because we got to tighten our belts even all the way around. So,
Right.
Because I looked at, our expenses are our expenses. We budgeted for our staff, and but some of the things, like even on highway, we got to watch purchases because we had interest income we're losing on highway. We budgeted $10,000, and that's gone. With the general fund, it's about between sales tax, clerk fees, interest, Rental of property, we're not renting the pavilions. The court's not open, we're not getting any fines. That per capita is down. The only thing that we're running above budget is the mortgage tax. So I estimate it right now, it's at least $75,000 we're gonna lose for this right now. So that's what and Matt, your question, probably Steve is the busiest department down there. Everybody's cleaning out and his revenues are up. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but I guess I've been, kind of sidelined here a little bit. And, but we can start, we were counting on the highway department putting a piece of blacktop down and then putting that shelter over it. And they're only working half time, so they don't really have time to do any extra stuff like that at this point, unless we contracted that out. So, but we need to move ahead. It's a point well taken. We can't just sit here. And, the other thing I'd like to report that I know there was some questions of what we're doing. It doesn't appear that we're doing a lot in this crisis. We are, as the chief said, we're passing out masks that we got from the county. We've been passing them out to anybody we knew. Anybody that needed them, we don't turn them away. We give them a packet of masks. We have a business in Walker Valley. She has her own food pantry, and she's delivering meals to like 30 some people a day herself with donations. The county resilience program, the meals are going to end on the 16th. At this point, we're up to 135 meals 3 times a week. And I'm very thankful for volunteers. We have Councilman Miller's wife, friend Donna, delivering on the West End. I think they're in their 7th or 8th week delivering meals. And, they've been, punctual and there every time. And then we have the Lions Club with Butch Van Leuven on the Walk Hill area. And they've stepped up, and we actually have had to turn volunteers away. It's been so popular. So we have a lot of camaraderie. I know Brian and we've gotten people to donate to the food pantry. We've steered people in that direction. So we are doing a lot without forming a committee. There's enough organizations working here and with the county program that I think the needs are getting met, but I could be wrong, as always. But
John, have we thought about maybe doing a phone call, like a quick 30-second run on what's going, how our updates are to the communities?
As to what?
Like we just do like a phone call, like we've done in the past, just updating them if we have something that we could just do a 30-second spin on what's going on in the town. If they need help, where to contact us.
Well, we got our Facebook page seems to be quite popular. I mean, we put something up there, am I right, Brian? We're getting like 2,000 to 3,000 hits.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. So we put up about the face mask that the police were handing it out, and that got a big, tonight's meeting, people are, I'm waiting to, see the video on YouTube. And so I think, the Facebook page seems to be the easiest way to get out. Robocall, I think people hang up right now. It's not the avenue, I don't think. That's just my opinion, though. I'm open to be convinced otherwise. But
well, the only reason that I think, saying on the robocall is that, they're saying that, what are we doing? Are we doing anything? If we could guide them to go to the Facebook page and register on the Facebook page to find out the information, just give them some guidance on where to look.
Well, the county is the very place to send them. The resilience, they have their own website. They can, business can sign up. People can, it'll take them to the Office of the Aging. It'll take them to all different departments, which they're set up to do. They have staffing. And maybe that is what we should put on. I did put it on about 4 weeks ago on the Facebook page, and it didn't get a lot of hits. People, once they saw the county emblem, they, I guess, got turned off by that. But, all right. But any thought you have, let's, but I'm hoping things can open up and because people aren't staying home right now. These meals we deliver, sometimes you take them, people aren't home. You wonder why you're dropping a meal off to some people if they're not home. Because it'll spoil outside in this weather. Okay, any other business besides, well, we got the bills to pay and we got the budget transfers. Two of them I sent you today. I need a motion on the budget transfers.
I'll make that motion for the budget transfers. Do we approve them?
Do I have a second?
I'll second
I'll
this.
second.
Okay, Bob seconds it. Poll the board, Jane, please.
Councilman Watkins,
Aye.
Councilman DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Amthor,
Aye.
and Supervisor Hawk.
Aye. Okay, now we need a motion to pay the bills.
So move, Watkins.
Second, Amthor.
Okay, Councilman Watkins,
Aye.
Councilman DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Amthor,
Aye.
Supervisor Hawk.
Aye. Okay. All right, anything else before we open it up for public comment? I don't know if anybody's here, but
Rachel's.
Oh, John, if I could get a minute.
yes.
I just wanted to tell everybody that the Walk Hill Firehouse went out to bid. The bids were open and it's game on for them, is the way it was put to me. So we're doing everything we can do to work with their engineers and their architects to get the plan signed. Hopefully I've got the final copy today. They delivered it to me. And I got to get it to Bonnie and Rich to just make sure all the changes were done. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to sign those maps on Monday and they can move forward on building the firehouse.
Great.
Okay, well, once they see ground broken, maybe we could start negotiating with them for the old firehouse, because the whole plan was, if we still want to do it, we can financially do it, is to purchase that for a police station and then sell that other piece of property or use it for something else. But if we can sell it, it's all the better. It's a prime piece of real estate. So, all right, thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
All right, nothing else? Brian, is there anybody here to open it up to?
Let's see. I got one. Rachel. We got. Let's see. Looks like one person. Andrew. Yeah, looks like we only had one other person on here. Apple's iPad. I'm not sure who that is. So.
All right, but anyway, did you unmute them?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Public comment. Anybody on the line would like to ask a question or make a comment?
Okay.
Thanks for the entertainment.
Yeah.
I guess not. All right.
Guess
All
not.
right. If that's anything, we'll have a motion to adjourn then. It's 8:08.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
to
make that
adjourn.
All right. Brian, you made the motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who seconded it?
Watkins.
Matt seconds it. Poll the
Okay.
board.
Watkins,
Aye.
Councilman DeWitt,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Amthor,
Aye.
Supervisor Hawk.
Aye. Okay, thank you all, and we'll meet again in 2 weeks. And Rachel, you know how to get a hold of me if you need any names or spellings or anything, all right? Okay,
Everybody.
Thanks.
good night. We're
Good
done.
night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, Mark.